Hey guys, it's Dan here with Merlin, aka Joe,
It's true.
and a brand new segment. Dan reviews
We
it.
hope,
We hope. This is something we've been talking about for literally
for
years,
some
at
reason.
least 2 years.
Yes, because I know you like this person, this
I
character.
do. So we are, and it's no surprise because it's going to be in the title of the thing.
You'll
But
guess.
this is a new segment, new video series called "It's a Bird, It's a Plane."
Mm-hmm.
We are going to tackle. We'll see how far we get.
Superman in media,
All
basically,
of the
right?
Superman in the visual
Motion,
emotion. Yeah,
video,
because I do have this amazing book of the original
newspaper strips.
newspaper strips, the War Years, it's called. We're not really going to. These books, by the way, they did one for Batman, one for Wonder Woman. They are awesome, and they're official DC publication. And I'm pretty sure you can still buy them. These are only maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Those are awesome.
But I mean, look at the detail with the colors and all that. So they're reprints. We're not really going to focus on the comics. We're going to talk about the
But
TV shows, the movies, the serials.
thematically, those comics kind of fit with what we're talking about today, chronologically.
Yeah, because we're going to go chronologically, which means the first thing up that we're going to talk about is the Max Fleischer shorts from the early 40s. These were theatrically released shorts. And I guess it's considered a serial, but I don't think they're really serialized. I think it's just considered that because it's a series of shorts.
Yeah.
That they aired,
On-
before the movies.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit about, I guess, our history with the character first. And we watched the very first short
Yes.
for today, and that's what we're sort of reviewing.
We'll probably combine more for the later because we got to get through a lot.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit about the history of Fleischer Studios and Fleischer. If you don't know Max Fleischer, you know, but for the audience maybe that doesn't, I am a huge connoisseur and fan of old
Timey.
comics.
Yeah.
Or cartoons.
Yes.
Theatrical cartoons, all of that stuff. I have all of these DVDs from different things. So Max Fleischer, when I heard he did, you told me about the Fleischer cartoons for Superman, I was like, well, that's the dude that brought Popeye, Betty Boop, other characters to the motion picture. So I knew that name right away. We'll dive in at a later date, I think, about the Fleischer brothers and all of that.
Sure.
But let's talk about our history with the character, because why this? Why are we doing Superman as opposed to Batman, who's been around just as long, or some of the more, to be honest, popular things of the day with the Marvel series? And what is it about Superman?
Well, my thought process for this was really more for your benefit. Well, number one, I know that you like the history of just media, through the comics, the cartoons, film. So I think your interest in that kind of ties into my interest of superheroes. And I think it would be interesting to kind of look at the history of this character who kind of is simplified. He's the core of when you think superhero, he's the basis for which everything else is built upon. And more specifically for you, I just thought you'd kind of like these serials. And I know, because you mentioned it a couple times, that I think Superman's kind of like your favorite superhero by default, or at least
He's definitely up there, for sure.
You just seem like you always gravitate for him. I've gotten you a few Superman things because could safely say that, and I just thought, I don't know, if we're going to talk about something superhero related on your channel, I thought Superman would be a good bet.
Okay,
That was
well, I love that.
My thought process.
I guess, gun to my head, I would probably say Superman is my favorite all time. Although I do love Spider-Man. And that I grew up with that cartoon, the 60s cartoon I grew up with in the early 80s. But yeah, you're right about the old comics, because this was sort of brought to my attention a little bit after I had started collecting old Peanuts, the original 30s and 40s Mickey Mouse reprints, Popeye reprints, all that kind of stuff. And then
just
right,
like your wheelhouse.
yeah, it's definitely my wheelhouse. Once DC released these, I was like, this is really cool. Yeah, you got me one. I can't remember which one it was, but then I went and got the other two because I thought it was so cool.
I think it was Wonder Woman, and I got you an action, and just
Yeah.
came up in conversation as far as my connection to the character, and I guess this specifically, these shorts or serials, is I think this is among the first superhero stuff I saw. It might have been this serial and probably the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are superheroes I like more. I mean, I like Spider-Man a lot.
Yeah.
Batman, Daredevil, probably a couple others. But Superman is still up
There
there for
is
me.
something about Superman that I think...
Superman is just... I love pure Superman, and
Mm-hmm.
especially starting off with this older stuff, there's just something I respect about it that's simple, it's fun, it's charming, and kind of innocent. But I think that when things get kind of edgy and complicated, and there's a lot of cynicism among fan bases, I go back to the core, and I think there's something refreshing about core Superman.
And this is a character that has remained popular this whole time.
And I love how...
Whatever iteration, even in the... Like, now, for me in the 90s, well, of course, first was the Reeve movies.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, when I was about 13 or so, they started with the Terry Hatcher show, Lois and Clark, which was hugely popular at the time.
Which I haven't seen much.
I've seen maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and they don't hold up that well. They're kind of corny, as you would assume.
But that's kind of in line with classic Superman. It's always a little corny.
Actually, yes.
And my little thing was just...
I'm seeing that now.
I think, to speak to your point, maybe we'll explore this as we're going on, that there is something about going back to that basic core of why Superman's remained so popular, even though he's been hated on for being corny and very basic, and he's kind of a authoritarian, old school idea, whatever. We'll talk about stuff, I'm sure. There's something pure about the hero that just does good for good's sake,
right?
And I think Superman is just... I wish we had more...
Isn't truth, justice, and the American way was the original slogan,
tagline.
Yeah,
which once again people could comment about, but I still... There's something about Superman's purity, even in the more darker, cynical stuff, that I like.
Well, at a perfect time, too, because him and Wonder Woman, like right before World War II, basically. Perfect time for truth, justice, the American way, that whole theme.
I love it.
I love it, too. And so, really, I am limited in my visual motion picture media of Superman. I've seen a few things. I've seen all the newer Justice League and Superman stuff, which some of it I can take or leave, but we did watch several years ago the first black and white movie serial,
which is good,
from the late 40s. The cartoons predate that, but we watched that as the first live action version of Superman, and it was actually really quite good. I mean, even the effects for the time were very good.
They made him a cartoon.
They made him a little cartoon when he, would go from building to building, whatever. But we made it through that whole thing. I think that was maybe 16 or 17 episodes, and we'll get to that eventually, I guess, too. But we just watched the first episode here of this. And by the way, I want to hold this up again. So all of these episodes, by the way, from the Fleischer set, are in public domain, so you can see them on YouTube. You can see them. I think we decided on HBO Max, maybe.
I know Plex had them last time I checked.
Yeah, they're in a few different places because it's there. It's public domain. But the DVD set, and you can see, if you're new to Damn Reviews, it you can see just collection. 1/5 of my collection here. But I love some DVDs, and this has a few extras. But this is made from Warner Brothers, from the 35 millimeter negatives, whatever. And it says on the back here, the original and the best, remastered from superior original vault elements.
I like it.
So this is going to be, and this was cheap. I think it was maybe $21 for the whole thing.
I think it's appealing.
Very appealing. So we love that. So we are in just this first episode. And what was it called? The
Mad Scientist.
Mad Scientist. Okay.
Yep.
And in it, we see the classic beginning. It gives us,
backstory.
If you've never heard of Superman, which at this time, the character had only been around
a couple years.
10 years maybe, or
not
7.
Like 3, 2.
Is it? Well, the War Years is 1938, but right, is that when Action Comics came out in 1938?
Yep, 38. He was 38.
Okay. So this actually is, I think, this is from the comic books. This isn't from newspapers.
Oh, so that's actually...
Because this is from Action Comics 1, it says.
Oh.
All right.
Nice.
So this is legitimately... Yeah, so he came out in 1938, right before the war started.
Yep.
So he was only 3 years old at this point.
Yep,
so yeah, it's very possible people didn't know who he was or what he was about. So this gives you, 2-minute intro. Oh, he's born, Krypton blew up, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing, we
Good
know.
stuff, right?
Yeah, very good. Well, and that probably explains why it's a little over 10 minutes. Because usually a cartoon short at that time was like 7.5 or so minutes.
Based on my memory, and we'll find out, I think that for the other ones, because the other ones I've seen, they just start with Superman is dead at bird plane.
Right.
They don't talk about, I think, too much of the Krypton stuff. I don't think.
I wouldn't think. Although maybe the first few did because they were still,
new.
if you... look, if you didn't go to the movies that week and you missed the first serial,
Oh, it's Superman.
right? You'd still need to know. So we see the whole setup. We know, Lois Lane and the
Very
Daily
Light.
Planet and
Bugle.
Daily Bugle, rather.
Planet. Is it Planet?
Daily Planet, right?
Yes, Bugle's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Planet,
Bugle is J.K. Simmons and that whole thing.
Planet, yeah.
So this is Daily Planet, and he goes, Lois Lane goes to this mad scientist thing. He's got a death ray, and this seems scary, Lois, for you woman. What?
He didn't actually say that.
It didn't. You know what though? It didn't seem.
No, it wasn't.
Now Perry White a little bit was saying it because she was a woman, but I don't think Clark Kent did.
Clark's just worried about her.
Yeah,
because he knows she's very bold and gets into trouble.
Right.
Hence the gimmick.
And she certainly gets into trouble here.
Well, look,
she raps on the door. Hello. This is typical.
And that's the part. That's the writing issue of the trope of the girl gets in trouble because like once again, bold, brave,
very bold.
But like the mad scientist is holding the city at ransom with his death ray. Gotta try to get an interview with him. Like what?
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
It was weird. That was the weird part.
I don't know. Maybe people were more open to that in the 40s. So he kidnaps her immediately.
Of course.
She doesn't even get 4 words out. And he kidnaps her.
You want a story?
Ties her up to the chair.
Yep.
Now he does have a parrot that's very funny.
Yeah, comical.
He does parrot everything that the mad scientist does.
That's your favorite part when he was.
It made me laugh very hard.
He's got a little bolt for the door.
When he walks down to the stairwell to the door, the parrot like mimics his. He parrots his gate. So I love that. But then of course the lasers start. He takes out the bridge. Cars are flying into the river, and they see this, or they hear it on the radio at the old Daily Planet, and Clark Kent's just sitting at his desk doing paperwork like always, and he says, "Well, this sounds like a job for Superman."
Casually walks to the door, literally 2 feet away.
Storage closet. Gets on the costume
with the lights on, changing.
Opens the window. Nobody feels a draft. He's just flying on out. I had some issues with that, but this is the bit. This is the gag. This is what he does.
This is comic books.
So he goes and first the lasers pointed at this building, and we're gonna basically take the building down, and Superman holds it up a little bit, and then it wobbles the other way.
Whoa!
Because architecture works like that.
Superman has this thing, I believe.
But you know something about
tactile telekinesis, where he's got like a force field around him, which is one reason why he's invulnerable. Which apparently shifts how you can hold things.
And you said your example was that's how like when he holds up a plane,
it doesn't. That's like part of it.
Yeah.
But the whole plane is held up.
Yeah.
That's one of his silly Superman convenient powers for writing comic books.
All right, now I want to say something.
Yes.
We love this character.
Yeah.
But I think there are some cheesy things about him for sure.
Well, yeah.
And that's where we get a lot of the the classic tropes of like he puts on a pair. Right.
See, I'm a completely different person.
Oh my God! What? I thought I invited Joe to my show, not this person.
I'm just.
There he is, everybody. It's so silly, but we love it.
You have to.
We love it. It's so endearing, right?
It's simplicity.
It's simplicity.
It's what do you call that? What's the term for that?
I don't know.
That when you
suspend
of belief.
I was going to say
very
suspend
much
your
that.
disbelief.
And
maybe.
sometimes you're allowed to do that. And I would say it's one of the tropes you just have to lean into.
Yes, and I think we're going to see a lot of it, probably every episode.
Every episode is going to be very
and
similar.
That's okay, because we'll get a different villain, maybe.
Yes.
This is basically Lex Luthor.
Yes.
But he has a little more hair.
He has like a little patch.
He has a patch up here, and then he has like sort of a little halo type thing around the side.
He's got a Jason
hair.
Alexander thing.
Jason Alexander is a good example. Yes. Remember the episode where he got the wig though, and then Elaine throws it. Anyway, we could go off about that, but. By the way, if you're new to my channel,
we go on
and
rants.
Joe, yes, we rant and
this is already longer than the
I claimed
intro.
15 minutes and we're still introing.
Sorry.
All right, but look, at the end of the day, he saves the day. Of course, he gathers. Well, he twists the laser into the thing.
As you do to send the feedback of the laser, so it explodes with Lois still.
But then he realizes Lois is in the building, so he's got to save her.
And saves the scientist.
And saves the scientist, of course, because
can't kill people.
Nice guy.
So
that's basically the episode, the end, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
So a couple things about this.
Okay.
Number one, this is regarded as A classic, of course.
Classic.
I do have some information. In 1994, they did a 50 greatest cartoons of all time. I don't know who did it, but it was animators, current animators in the field that voted on it. And this first episode was number 33 of all time. Of everything, Bugs and Mickey Mouse, of everything.
I'm sure people that
are pretty great.
Like are tuning into this probably already know this, but another thing that's extremely important about this series of shorts, this series of shorts, is that the animation style is awesome, of course.
Yeah, which I'll talk about in a second too.
But, well, then I'll let you lead in after this. This was the model by which the Batman animated series was leaning to. They said, we're going to do it in this style to make it with that level.
Of the 90s, you mean?
Of the 90s.
Yeah, the classic.
Like the show.
Right.
The superhero show. What said, this is the standard, at least visually, that we want the aesthetic to go for. That was the influence.
Well, I love that. So from a historical perspective, as I said, I love all these old cartoons and I have all the collections of the things. So this was 1941 was an era of a lot of the Looney Tunes ones that people still watch today were made around this time. A lot of like the Disney stuff was like Goofy was coming into his own a lot of time. So, but I watch mainly that kind of stuff. Sure. I watch mainly the gag shorts. Because really, other than the superhero shorts, I don't know too many animated. Yeah, like I don't know too many action animated serials. When I think back and look back, it's a lot of Tom and Jerry was around this time, the 40s. Casper the Friendly Ghost started in 49.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. So I think this is actually pretty novel.
Yeah.
That, like Woody Woodpecker.
Like it's more.
This is an anomaly.
Yeah.
And so
serious.
Right, we see humans, we see serious stuff, we see action.
Yeah.
Violence,
not comedy's sake.
Right, non-comedy violence. And so this, I can totally see why it set the template. The thing that stuck out to me the most about the animation is the coloring.
Beautiful.
It's not only beautiful, but it's very specific. There's a lot of shades of green and blue, specifically like a kryptonite type of green. And I wonder how much the use of that sort of informed the future of the cartoons and the knowledge of the kryptonite and all of that stuff.
Probably a lot.
Kryptonite is real, right? Or is it not? They made it up?
Kryptonite, I believe, is made up for Superman.
Okay.
Although it's possible it could be based on an actual mineral. Don't quote me. I'm not a science person.
We better look that up before the next episode. But I'm wondering.
I'm pretty sure Kryptonite it's a made up, like thing for Superman because Krypton. Although
I actually thought it was real, but this will be an interesting one to look up for next time.
But obviously, a lot of stuff about it is made up for Superman. But
when I saw all the green colors, specifically in the Mad Scientist's lab with his computer, the laser had like green and yellow sort of spirals. It just made me think, like, I wonder if this was some sort of template to inform everybody in the future that was drawing the comics or whatever. I mean, obviously the comics came first for 3 years, so.
But I'll be honest with you, I in those early years, I don't know how much it was established. Like, I'm not as much of an expert as I should be on like kryptonite being, because the thing is, early on there's like 20 different types of kryptonite or whatever that have different effects. So I don't know the specifics of the lore that early
now
on.
It's a lot more cut and dry.
Oh yeah, now it's like for sure, but I don't know when. I actually don't know when kryptonite officially came out and said that did what with green.
Okay,
I'm gonna look it up for next time.
Well, and I'm gonna actually start reading. I had leafed through this book when I first got it, but I think I might start actually reading the comics and trying to figure out when some of those norms were established.
Yeah, you might find it there.
Yeah. So anyway, are we gonna? I guess we'll grade all these. We grade everything on my channel.
Sure.
It's sort of a standard.
Yeah.
But how do you not grade this lower than anything like an A or an A plus? I mean, this is a template.
That's the thing.
For literally everything.
I mean, this is Superman at his core. Yeah. Everything else is following it. I mean, it's an A plus for me.
A plus for sure.
I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the episodes will be sort of similar to this, but I loved it. It was pure joy. It's 10 minutes. It's not boring. Yeah. It's great if you knew nothing about Superman. Show it to your kid. And I'm also I'm surprised. Like I guess Fleischer, they do good stuff. But I was thinking this reminds me a lot of our Disney videos, just the animation quality is just so good.
Yeah, so
The realistic
you have
movements.
joined me on many of these Disney classics. I'm going down the journey of all the Disney movies in Dan Does Disney on my channel, and you've done the major animated ones. And that would be right around this time. I mean, 41 would have been like right after Fantasia.
Bambi,
I think Bambi might have been 41. Dumbo was
Pinocchio
probably
or
around this
something?
time.
Yeah, one of those.
Pinocchio I think was 39, but either way, yeah, like
Right
they're
around
all
that.
kind of right around this
Just
time.
remind me a lot of that style.
And yeah, in terms of the characterization of the faces, it's plain.
That's
It's
of the
certainly not
time.
as in detailed as the Disney feature length.
That's also one thing I've
But they
noticed.
didn't have the money for that.
It's like looking at an older sci-fi. You kind
Yeah.
of appreciate the charm. And I notice some people that are newer comics, they might try to look at the older stuff and like, it's so simple. I don't like the art. I don't know. I appreciate the simplicity of it. And
Yeah.
you realize that budget was tighter. You got to do a lot with less.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, Fleischer was never known for its high budgets. Like when you look at those old Looney Tunes, I mean, those are just gorgeous. You can tell they poured a lot of money into it, which is interesting because, I guess Warner Brothers owns them now, but they didn't make them then. Warner Brothers, of course, made the Looney Tunes though. But the same thing with the old Disneys. The Mickey Mouse, Goofy, whatever. All very crisp and clear, and this is a little more muddy.
But the warm colors, though.
But yeah, I mean, it's the colors that make and the
smooth.
storyline too. But
Everything's it's just so smooth.
yes,
Like, everything looks so smooth.
you could tell that Fleischer did not have quite the budget of a Looney Tunes.
Sure, but it's like
But it didn't need to
it's
because
fluid though.
it's fluid. Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like you could just like touch the images and they would be flexible. I don't know.
Yes, and I think it's more classical in the sense that it looks more like a painting.
Yeah.
Like the Looney Tunes characters, yeah, okay, the lines are crisper or whatever, but they're so cartoony in the sense that it's just more broad.
Exaggerated,
Yeah, like exaggerated features. These act like Lois Lane,
Simple model design.
Clark Kent look like real people.
Yeah, it's simple. Pretty simple. You got a long dress or suit. It's not much to animate.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously it's an A+. We grade a lot of things when we look at old, nostalgic pieces
As the time
time period. But even today,
I loved it. I don't know.
I think this would not bore someone.
It's 10 minutes.
It's-
a pure fun, and I mean, would it? I don't know. Would a kid now?
I don't know. No,
Maybe.
I think a kid now would definitely enjoy this.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's fun.
Action.
Oh, I know what solidified that A+.
What's that?
When he winked at the camera at the end.
Oh my God! At the end, I knew when Lois Lane is saying to
Thanks to Superman.
Perry White, and she's like,
got the
"Well,
story."
we got the story thanks to Superman." And they sort of started to zoom in, and I turned to Joe and I said, "If he winks, I'm gonna lose my mind." And he turned, and I was like, "Oh my God, he did
I
it!"
winked at the audience.
Love it, love it, love it.
Pretty good.
And also a good transition from the mad scientist actually being in the jail
Oh
cell
yeah, to the photo.
to the newspaper photo.
That was good.
That was a really good transition.
That was awesome.
Now you did point out that Clark Kent / Superman has not been deputized. So how why
walk
did
to the jail? Just throw him in.
he just threw him in the jail?
I mean, to be fair, in
But
these
all
old
right,
comics,
this is what happened.
The police are fine with Superman, but it's just
Yes.
like, wow, no procedure, no reading of rights. Just, well, are you going to argue with
But
Superman?
it's one more thing that just sort of makes
I
it
know, it's
kind of
camp, it's
classic
silly,
and
like-
endearing. Yeah.
But once again, we've got Man of Steel. Like, do you have the right? But see how far
Yes.
we've come.
And it's where in a 2021 lens there would be a whole
About
he's got to have
police
a
violence
trial and a jury.
Oh yeah. What's the mad scientist motivation? No,
Right.
just villain, one dimensional.
Let him walk the streets in the meantime.
Simple, pure.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there. So the next episode apparently is one of your favorites.
Oh yes, the mechanical
of the
monsters.
few that you've seen.
Love it. A++, I guess.
All right. Well, we'll get there now.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I love it. Love it.
But this is the show. Hopefully you've liked it. Please comment below with your
Subscribe.
thoughts. And yes, please do subscribe too. We would love to have you as part of the channel. And Joe, another great long video, of course. We never hit it right. I thought maybe 15 minutes.
No.
25.
I don't know, man. This is
But like, this is the intro.
we got to talk
we
about,
got to talk
introduce
about
the
our
show.
history with Superman.
Look, to be honest,
right.
they're mostly going to be the same. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think future ones are going to be a little shorter, but
Yeah.
that's all right. We can bang out a few in a day.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see everybody next time on It's a Bird, It's a Plane, right here on Dan Reviews It. Bye.
I like the way it ended that.